start recording again. All right, so Montemario, you spend the rest of the night studying the book, and basically it's already daybreak when you already like sort of shut the curtains to study a little bit more, but at some point you're just too tired and you fall asleep, and it's maybe I don't know 6 in the morning or something like that.
Okay, so I haven't slept tonight. Okay,
Well,
nice.
no, you're sleeping now. You're sleeping in the morning at the moment, and I guess everyone is sort of sleeping late for sure because it was sort of like 4 a.m. or 4:30 when you woke up. Um, so
I have an internal clock. I wake up at 8 o'clock, whatever day it is, basically.
okay, I'm supposing Pichler does as well, like with
Not me.
years of sort of routine, perhaps. What do you say?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and he's very concerned with not losing the day. Pichler.
He's also Austrian.
He's like a cuckoo, mechanism.
Okay, so well, basically no one sleeps over beside Montemario, and actually Jackson as well, because Miller, we established last time that the prison routine still has the best of him, so he's basically not sleeping. Also, from what he's seen tonight, there is no way
Stay awake.
he's gonna sleep.
They if they come down in the hall of the hotel, I'm there with a coffee or something.
Okay, just know that for the whole day you're gonna have penalty on pretty much most checks you're gonna do.
Oh, come on, one day is fine. You can go without sleeping one day.
You will have the penalty though.
All right, gotcha.
And yeah, so that's what happens. I think it's Pichler actually who is first meeting you at the breakfast.
Morning.
Hello, Miller.
Maddox, just whenever you want, you can come in.
Sleep well?
Yes, well, it was somewhat disturbed. But I'm all right. How about you, Miller? You look like you've seen better nights and days.
I'm good. I didn't sleep much because I was awake at the hospital all night.
Well, yeah, it's quite a mystery, this Sanchez fellow. Well,
I really don't know what happened yesterday. It was very strange. By the way, I mentioned to you I had a look at that journal, right?
yep.
It was speaking of some expedition.
An expedition.
Yeah, ancient stuff conducted around 1500, in the 1500th century. The leader of the expedition name was something like what's his name again?
Actually, this.
Well, the leader of the expedition went to look for an ancient pyramid with about 4 companions, and they found a strange labyrinth outside of the pyramid. And apparently, the golden bar we found is this labyrinth, this maze. And this is all the notes of the lady, the girl we found.
Yeah, the young woman Rizzo.
Yes, exactly. Apparently, when they discovered this, they started exploring this labyrinth. They took some gold out of the walls, and the next day, his companions went crazy.
Oh, it's like a horror story come true.
Yeah, in the notes it says that they went really tired and they started acting violently against the leader expedition, the leader of the expedition, and it says some of them tried to eat him. Like, I guess they were really yeah, they were hungry or something. Now I don't know how reliable is this. You know, it's the gibberish of explorer of 15th century, but Miss
Ah,
Briscoe seems pretty convinced.
it sounds very much like this folklore of these vampires, if you will. It seems to coincide with that, wouldn't you say?
I mean, I don't know. Didn't say anything about sucking blood or sucking fat, but could be. Yeah, sure.
So perhaps this gold bar we found, could it be that it's the very same detailed in this manuscript?
Yeah, it could. Yeah, it seemed like it. Yeah, it seems like the girl was examining it because she seems convinced this golden bar belonged to that maze. Yeah. Yeah, and I guess I don't know. It's quite eerie. I'm sure that Mr. Montemario will be able to get more information out of it. It was all very confusing.
So he's got the manuscript or her notes now.
I gave it to Mr. Maddox.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, it's a shame that they perished. Now we shall have to find out for ourselves, I suppose.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
But I think we can find more information about this expedition leader. His name I don't remember right now, but it's written in the diary, and maybe there is a map as well in the notes. It's not precise, but I think it will be helpful if we're looking for that place. And it seems to me that that's exactly what we're looking for, right?
Yes. And also, I shall perhaps make use of the excellent libraries they have here at the Universidad. Perhaps I can cross-reference.
Yeah, there
some
was
of this.
a priest that was following the leader of the expedition after the facts. Apparently, the guy went crazy after this, and you'll find the name of the priest in the book as well. Maybe we can find out something about this priest. Maybe he wrote something else.
An excellent suggestion. Yes, that would be natural if having suffered through something so horrible that he would wish to seek solace with God.
Yeah, makes sense to me. That's what I would do.
Certainly. Yeah. Well.
Good morning there, fellas. Did you sleep well?
Good morning.
How are you doing there, Mr. Miller?
I'm good,
Shane?
thanks. Yeah, a little bit tired, but I'm here.
You look a little bit better. You look awfully pale yesterday.
I feel worse than yesterday, but yeah, that's a good sign, I guess, if I look better.
Let's see if we can, if we can't shake it up. You want a drink? I know it's early, but maybe you need a pick-me-up or something.
I have a coffee in front of me, so I point at the coffee and go like, I'm good.
Oh, okay. You okay there, Mr. Pichler? Did you sleep well?
Yes, I managed to resume my sleep after we returned home.
That's well. That's good to hear. This is getting better and better.
We were just talking.
Yeah? What was that?
So Miller has studied Rizzo's notes, and
I had a look.
and Montemario also studied them. And there was mention of.
He has the notebook right now. I left it with him. Come again?
Perhaps we could look like cross-reference, make use of the facilities here before we leave, like the library.
You mean there's some information where some lead or something in the notebook?
A priest's name and a map, and yeah.
a priest. What kind of priest? Priest who you mean?
I tell the
Um,
story. I repeat the story to Mr. Maddox.
Okay. You mean the priest that set Mr. Figueroa free, or so to
I
speak,
didn't say. I didn't
give
say.
him his last rites?
I didn't tell you his name, Figaro. I don't remember.
Okay. But I read the journal for a small.
Oh, you did? Okay, that's Figaro. Yeah, that was the man. That was the guy, the leader of the
All
expedition.
right. I didn't read a lot, but the only thing that struck out to me was the name Luis de Mendoza.
Why is that?
It's
Well,
the very bodyguard
it might
of
be a coincidence, right? But it's Mr. Larkin's bodyguard,
Oh, that's his name?
Luis de Mendoza. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think it's very relevant, to be honest. You know, the character is in the book. It's 500 years old. I mean, it's
Yeah,
impossible.
I'm not saying it's the same person, but
and Mendoza is a common name.
Yeah, I would,
yeah.
I don't. I wouldn't lose any sleep about it.
Well, this whole situation is making me lose sleep.
You tell
He
me.
must be rational also, and not. Well,
Yeah, of course. You're probably right, Pichler. It's probably nothing. How do you
Yep.
feel about talking to the police, you guys?
I already talked to the
Do you-
police yesterday before you guys
You
arrived.
need to leave a statement. Did you leave a statement at
Oh, you mean
at
about the
hotel?
girl? Oh, yeah.
The hospital, I mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
about Miss Risa.
Yeah.
Rizzo.
You see, I'm taking a sip of my coffee, and I go, keep thinking about his eyes. He looked very strange.
You mean Mr. Professor Sanchez?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us again what happened? He was grunting, you said.
Yeah, like an animal. He was moving weird as well.
Do you guys figure it could be rabies?
I'm
Other
I started to think some kind of strange, you know, strange.
disease of some kind.
Yeah, like a strain of rabies. I don't know.
Well, rabies makes you behave irrationally violently. You froth at the mouth, but I've never heard about any whatever that was, that substance coming out of his mouth, and
Yeah,
never
me
seen
neither.
anything like that thing that was crawling underneath his skin. But it makes you violent. It makes you react super
I know that it closes your
hostile.
throat. You're unable to drink water.
Yeah, you get a fear of water.
the hydrophobia.
Hydrophobia, that's right.
What is it?
It's
No.
a pathological fear of water.
I don't know.
Yeah. Turns
Sweet.
a man into a beast. Never seen it myself, but I've heard some stories.
I've seen a guy with rabies, and
Yeah.
years ago.
Mm.
Yeah, it's strange, but it didn't look like rabies at that moment. But maybe it's a strain of rabies. Maybe it's something similar. I mean, be anything, right? A
I
poison.
just hope the police have caught him by now.
Somehow I doubt it.
If there's any decency in this country, I'm sure they have him.
Why did he commit a crime when he left? Would he be on the police's?
Well, he's a witness.
Watch list, you mean?
He's a witness of Miss Rizzo's death, certainly.
And
Right?
he is a person of interest, so to speak.
Mm.
Definitely.
Like, I mean, he was his employer, so her employer. So definitely, like, police would investigate on him.
And in any case, we're after him. We need to confirm this Luis Mendoza character, see if he's truly the person he is, or claims to be, or not. And if not, we need to figure out a plan on how to deal with this whole thing.
Why are you suspecting Mendoza?
Well, Professor Sanchez gave a description of the man who hurt him,
Wait a
and that
minute.
description actually fits Mendoza
That's
to
right.
a T.
That's
Blue
right.
eyes,
Yeah,
long black
that's
hair,
right. Didn't
I
pointy
drew
nose.
I drew a sketch yesterday. We mean to show it to him and see if he can identify,
Confirm it. Yeah.
confirm. I have it here. This is, yeah, I show you the sketch of.
We never told you this,
Garden.
Miller, but we went to see Mr. Mendoza and Larkin.
You did? When?
Yeah, the same day you
When
went
we
to
were in
see
the
Mr.
hospital.
When you were in the hospital with
Oh, yesterday. Okay.
Mr. Hughes.
What did they say?
Well, they didn't act surprised, but they didn't act concerned either, and they didn't act. I don't know what to say, just a stone face, and apparently, Mr. Larkin's. Well, he's a drug addict. That's why he's been acting that way. Heroin.
That makes sense. To be honest, his behavior at the table.
Yeah, it was strange, right?
Yeah, there was something I couldn't quite catch at the table, but now that you say this, makes sense.
That's what it is. I'm sure of it. Yeah, it's quite the peculiar situation we got here.
Anyway, if you excuse me, I just want to take some fresh air, and I stand up from the table and go outside.
And I go have an espresso.
Mr. Pichler,
Coffee's
I get
ready.
some water. 1 sec.
how do you feel about Mr. Miller? Is he?
Sorry, just to interrupt. Montemario, how long are you gonna sleep? Are you gonna sleep all morning, or are you at some point waking up? Just to know. You are muted.
Tú eres mutado.
You are muted.
Perdona. I don't know if you decide. I mean, if at some point I'm not sleepy anymore, I just don't waste time.
I would say
If I can't sleep anymore, I just dress and go to breakfast.
I would say you probably decide that around 10 a.m. something like that.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay,
so there is
whenever you want, you just tell me and I
okay.
can.
So there is a bit of time.
We'll go down directly to their table.
Okay, if they're still there at 10, probably not. But yeah, there is a bit of time between you two then, Pichler and.
But what time is it now? When they are talking?
It's like maybe 8.
Ah, okay.
8:30. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see you at lunch then.
I ask Pichler again. Pichler, is Mr. Miller all right? He looked awfully pale yesterday. Did you get a peel on him?
Well, he certainly seems to have been shooken up by whatever events that transpired at the hospital.
He wasn't lying yesterday.
No,
I could tell.
I have a very hard time coming to grips with what possibly could have happened. I
me
do
too.
hope that the police catch him.
Let's keep an eye on Shane, shall we? I'm beginning to worry a bit. Very well.
Yes, he's supposed to be our watchdog, our eyes and ears. It would be a bad thing if we went out into the jungle with him in this state.
I don't believe he would crack. I'm more afraid he would just snap and lose it. Very well. I need to look into some messages and see if I've gotten any from the States.
Very well.
I'll catch you in a while. Take care, Pichler.
And best of luck.
You too. I walk up to the reception.
Yeah.
Signora, I'm looking for.
Good
are there any
morning,
messages for me?
Sir, yes, actually. We have a telegram for you.
All right.
From Maddox.
Well, thanks, Signora.
Here it is. And she shows you a small telegram. It just says, We will be looking into that. We will be in touch.
Well, all right. Well, thanks, madam. Meh. Fuck do we do now?
Jackson comes down at this point. It's about 9, I would say.
Mr. Hughes, how are you? Slept all right?
Well, not really, but can't ask for much more, I'd say. Did you already have breakfast?
I'll join you. Don't worry about it. I could have another cup of coffee.
Yeah, I was thinking of maybe grouping up and reading the notes. You have them, right?
Well, Mr. DeMario had them. Montemario.
Montemario, yeah. Okay, so is he already here?
No, he's currently sleeping.
Okay, so well,
I'm sure he'll be down presently. Don't worry
as,
about it.
As you're walking back around, so you're talking as you're walking back to the table. That's how Bishop also overheard you, and Jackson greets you, and says, "All right, fellas, this would be my plan for today, and we need to make the most out of this day if we wanna get to the expedition tomorrow."
Well, the expedition it's tomorrow, right?
Yes, at 8 a.m. So we have less than 24 hours by now. So my plan would be first we just get rid of the bureaucracy here and just let's do the statement as quickly as we can. And
I agree.
then let's study the notes that we got from the girl because that's the only clue we have if we want to understand what's going on with Larkin. And if you had any other plans, sure, we can fit it in there.
Well, as I told the guys before, we need to figure out this whole Sanchez situation. He's a load-bearing clue himself in this thing.
How do you
'Cause he-
how do you propose to figure out the Sanchez situation by ourselves? Like just go around Lima?
No, we need to
shouting
talk
for
with the
man?
police, but like someone must have seen him.
Well, we are heading over to the police.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack for me, to be honest.
Don't fret, Mr.
Like,
Jackson.
it's
He's
not-
a lone, crazy man inside Lima. Someone must have seen him.
Yeah, but
He's
we
probably
have
just
less-
wandering around on the streets.
We have less than 24 hours. How do you plan to, even if it's just about in the streets, how do you plan to track him down? And like, let's say we go to the police and then talk to them, and it's already afternoon. We have no chance before tomorrow. We're gonna miss the Larkin track if we wanna track Sanchez.
Jackson, the last thing that leaves a man is hope, and we need to be hopeful here.
Oh, you're right.
Let's have some faith. Let's see what happens.
I would
Otherwise,
You're right, but I
I-
also want to be rational here, and I want to make the most out of our time. I don't want to go into a sort of what do you say, duck chase?
a goose chase.
Goose
Yeah,
chase.
sure.
I also requested from Larkin the inventory list. I've yet to receive one for the expedition.
So we could always split up. We're 5 people here. We can cover a lot of ground. But as you say, I think the police office is the first step on our day task.
Yeah. So I guess let's wait a little bit for Montemario. Otherwise, let's wake him up.
Well, there he is, Montemario, coming down the stairs right now to the
actually-
dining room.
Actually, it's not. So you keep each other company a little bit more. I don't know if Miller comes back or not. But unless you wanna say something specific, you're basically more or less mentioning these things. Maybe you're filling in Jackson onto this like notes that the story that Miller already repeated twice, and some time passes and some awkward silences. Everyone is tired and it's pretty obvious. The sun is shining through the windows at the hotel. It's a good day, blue sky, beautiful light.
I walk around in the hotel and admire an interior and any artwork they have.
Yeah, again, it's nothing native, but they have pictures and they have paintings, carpets that are beautiful, and again, chandeliers and things like that. It's nothing to your artistic eye. It's nothing to like it's hotel furniture, you know. It's not art.
Ah. Well, then I grow tired.
And that's when Montemario actually comes, and it's about 10 past 10, I would say.
Okay. Good morning, gentlemen. Have
Mr.
you
Montemario, good morning.
slept well?
Some of us.
Oh, I have to corrupt to have a good coffee. Someone.
Garçon, some coffee here, please.
And they do bring the excellent coffee that Montemario didn't like the day before.
Okay. Quiero un espresso. ¿Puedo haber un espresso, por favor?
Sí, señor, sí, señor.
I think he's going to bring back
Coffee's not to your liking, eh, Mr.
the
Montemario?
same exact thing. No, I don't know
So,
if I will ever like this. This looking shit.
Montemario, let's cut to the chase here. What did you learn from the notebook?
Yeah. Gotta be honest, I didn't learn much that could eventually help. I mean, it's an impressive, logbook. I mean, for a woman, and so, I mean, there are some. The most astonishing thing is that there are some idioms that are really redundant in the Western.
You mean the doodles at the sides?
Yeah. I could recognize some recurrent
The doodles.
things that are really recurrent in Western occultism in general. But I can't really be sure about that. I should check I should have access to a library or something.
See, I didn't think much of those, but what did you think about the map?
Well, I couldn't really read much because the handwriting was really awful. But I understand there was some kind of expedition, and these guys at some point went mad because I don't know, they got some fever, or I don't know, they saw something they shouldn't see. And yes, there is some kind of map, but what do you mean? You mean if we can trace this place eventually, or?
Yeah, I'm not very solid on the geography of this place, but maybe it's something you recognize, some place you recognized. Like the map didn't mean much to me, but maybe you guys know more about it.
Well, I'm not a cartographer, so I really don't know where this place could be eventually. It could be I don't know if in what way could be related to the place that Larkin is looking for. I don't know.
Perhaps we should
Yeah, it
compare
should
it
be, but
to.
I don't have any connection to say that. Honestly.
Did you read the part where the members of the expedition tried to eat the man?
Yeah, I mean, but that could be a lot of things. I mean, they could be, I don't know, they could be like savages in the first place, or they could have been caught by some kind of, jungle fever, or I don't know, maybe it's just bullshit, or maybe they're just something they shouldn't see. I mean, if you, encounter some kind of occult forces that you're not prepared to meet, that is something that could happen. I mean, history is full of people that actually try to manage without the proper preparation occult forces, and they are really hard.
Well, what are you talking about, occult forces? What is this gibberish?
Yeah. I mean, there are.
You don't believe in these stories, right?
No,
Well, that
I'm just saying these are.
And by the way, off game, as I say this, you see I'm kind of a little bit of sweat, and I'm like preoccupied a little bit.
Okay. No, I mean, if you're not prepared to study those things, you could be, how can I say, come si dice, suggestionato. How can I say?
Well,
Autosuggestion.
Misled, maybe, I don't know.
I
No,
don't know.
Yeah, you can be misled, or you can your imagination could really go away. You know, you're in the middle of jungle and you see really strange symbols, and people started suddenly talking about demons or something like that, and legends, and they at some point just want to eat each other. It could happen. They are
see,
just, savages without any culture and any preparation, so it could be possible.
But
But
these were
about
conquistadors, right? These weren't any savages. These were the members of the expedition going haywire on themselves, right?
not
I
at
don't
the
know
time.
how to know if they were prepared enough. I mean, they were conquistadors, so they were basically, I don't know, mercenaries or soldiers, or we don't know the background of these people. So
And there are plenty of odd accounts. If you read through history, people say all kinds of odd things, also in Europe.
bullshit. When they just go out of their house, a couple of kilometers, they start seeing people with 4 arms or something. It's
Yes.
just that people get,
All right. Listen here, I have a question though. What is the connection between the notebook and the golden artifact we found?
The
There seems
golden
to be some.
seems to be part of a maze that's outside the pyramid. Apparently, the walls are covered in gold and decorations like that.
So then we should investigate this artifact a bit more. This might be the very same maze and
Yeah.
pyramid we might be going to, right?
Yeah.
It could be.
Pishler, the artifact's in your room, right?
Oh, yes.
I look around, Lucho, just to see that nobody's listening in on our
Doesn't
conversation.
look like. No, it's pretty empty.
Because otherwise we wouldn't be having this very
No,
open.
no. It's quite late here. It's like 10 past, like 10:30, and I mean, no one is there having breakfast at 10:30.
There's one more thing. Yesterday, the man tried to bite me. I forgot to say that earlier. He
You
tried
mean
to
Professor Sanchez?
Yeah.
Bite you how? What do you mean?
He tried to bite me, like.
Did he bite you?
No, I didn't. But in our
Are you-
struggle, when I was trying to stop him,
Well, that's
said
in line with rabies, for instance, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
but also a man who is not prepared, who doesn't know how to fight, often resorts to biting, I would say.
well, biting's a pretty good resource, even if you know how to fight.
True that.
Yeah, he tried to bite me. He was growling. Yeah.
Guys, I don't think we're gonna have a much issue finding this man. He's obviously crazy. I'm sure he's attacked other people. The police probably got him in custody right now.
Let's go to the police. You said, right? You wanted to get.
Yeah, we're going there as soon as Marius finished it. Montemarius finished his coffee.
Yeah, I mean, I probably won't drink it, so I mean, I will wait for something to eat, and then we can just go.
All right.
All right, let's get this done. As I was telling Mr. Maddox and Mr. Pichler, we have less than 24 hours if we want to join Larkin. And I don't know how we would react if we wouldn't join. Would he still go? So.
Well, he can't go. I'm the funding.
So should we stall him?
Or how does this work, Lucho?
Should we stall him?
Did I already give him the funding, or
Yeah.
am I sitting on a pile of cash?
No. You gave him some funding. That's how he got all the equipment, right?
All right, but maybe
Yeah,
he's still.
You gave him most of the grant, of course. He's supposed to.
So he's set to go, basically.
Yeah, he's supposed to produce like receipts and stuff to make sure that like your money is accounted for. But you are also a businessman, and you're aware that even if he was the most honest man, he would sort of like, take some bite of that money for himself.
That's fine. I'm asking more if he's capable to go without me now or not.
As for means, yes, but they're just two, right?
Yeah. And also, whatever he finds, I'm sure he signed a contract saying that he.
Yes, it did.
Like I'm still a vad heter det? An equal.
Beneficiary.
I get equal rights to everything we find.
Yes.
Or even I get more in a way.
Something like that. Yes, he probably did write a 50-50 among like himself and the rest of the party. Like gets their other 50, something like that.
They get 5.
The precise terms don't matter too much. You have your share, of course, of the thing and the credit.
Not to you, Mr. Hughes. No, I'm kidding. But we make our way to the police station, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. So.
Fellers, before we enter here, I want to discuss what we're gonna say, what we're gonna tell the police officers.
You do this while you're waiting for the tram, unless you want to take another cab. But it's a good day, and taking the tram will give you also the chance maybe to overhear people talking about some crazy man, So maybe you decide to take the tram instead.
So listen here. Oh, sorry. Finish, Lucia.
No, that's it. You're waiting for the tram. It's almost like noon. Let's say 11 something, and.
Okay. Listen here, fellas. We haven't done anything wrong. Just don't mention that we took a notebook and the artifact, and we're gonna be fine here. Just tell everything you know. Be straight with them. Be clear with them. We haven't done anything. We're probably not even suspects. We're reasonable and upstanding people here. This is gonna go fine. Just keep the notebook and the artifact out of the conversation. And if it comes up, just tell them you don't know what it is and you've never seen it.
Yeah, but I'm not really worried because, this police doesn't really look like he's looking forward to investigate this case. I think they are just not caring much.
Probably not. But in case anything happens, just come speak to me and I'll sort it out with them. Don't worry about it. I've had run-ins with the law before, not many, but I know how to talk to cops. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah, no, but
as you say, Mr. Maddox.
Very eager.
Okay, so you get on the tram. It's nice cart, very modern. There is, of course, coming and going around the city. Everything seems a bit slower to your eyes because you have lost a bunch of sleep. But the world around you doesn't seem to care. The sun is shining and people are laughing, and you are all in a bad mood, and it seems sort of ghastly to see all these people around you sort of not being concerned at all with demons and things with rabbits and all the cult symbol or whatever. And eventually your journey is over and you get to the police department. You get greeted and brought inside, and you meet a man. He might be on his maybe late 40s. He is actually a Peruvian man, but he is dressed and also groomed as a North American style with some sort of like thin mustache just right over his lips, and backwards combed there, and he greets you and says in Spanish, "Hello, I'm Captain de Revilla."
Buenos dias, Mr. Mervillo. What was his name? Sorry.
Yeah, that's what you said. You didn't understand because you don't speak Spanish, right?
Buenos dias.
And so you introduce yourselves, and he guides you in his office. It's quite a messy office. There is a desk with a lot of paper around, and another guy a bit fat with some glasses, sitting behind a typewriter, doing some like stamping some documents. And there is a half cup of coffee on his desk as well. And he just leans on the desk. He doesn't sit behind and sips from his coffee and says to you guys in Spanish again. So I think who does understand? Miller and Montemario understand for sure.
I don't understand.
Pisho, do you speak Spanish? I don't remember.
No.
Okay, so he speaks.
9.
As soon as he sees who speaks Spanish, he basically understands immediately and stops talking to Maddox, who's sort of like in the forefront, and starts instead to talk to either Jackson or Montemario or Miller. It takes turns actually. He doesn't seem to be very concerned by the fact that Jackson is black as well. He seems to treat him like every one of you. And he starts saying something like, yesterday was quite a day for Lima, wasn't it?
When he starts speaking, I tell Miller, can you ask if he speaks English?
Habla inglés?
No, I'm
Hablo
sorry.
inglés.
No, I'm sorry. Could you guys translate for him, I suppose?
You translate, Miller.
Yeah. What is he saying?
Yeah, then he just said it was quite a day for Lima, wasn't it?
He's just talking about the weather.
Yeah, well, it's a nice day, sure.
And you seemed to be strangely involved in all that happened yesterday. And he takes.
How so? How do you
Well,
know that?
You were.
What is this?
You were around very strange situations that don't happen very often in this nice city, my friends.
What is he saying, Shane?
He knows about the stuff we did yesterday and these couple of days. He says he's heard something, and it's a small place, I guess.
It's a small place. We're in Lima. What do you... go on.
Who told you about this stuff then? You just heard it from a bird?
You ask him this?
Yeah, I asked him.
This is my job, Mr. Miller.
Is it? Okay.
It is.
Yeah,
Are you aware of where you are, or are you completely lost in this moment? You're in a police station. Do you know that?
Yeah,
How
I
is
know
Hughes and Montemario reacting to this insane conversation?
Yeah, Jackson sort of like tries to if Montemario doesn't intervene, then Jackson who intervenes and says,
I say,
"Oh,
I say
Captain, Captain, excuse us. It was just an extremely shocking day for us yesterday, and we've never seen the likes of it."
You have to forgive us. It was a very shocking night. So, officer, please forgive us. We are absolutely eager to cooperate and to help you in the investigation.
My friends just arrived in Lima, and you see, the first thing they see is this, and Mr. Sanchez was my friend. So you can understand my shock at this, and the guy take another sip and say, okay, well, let's say from now on, everything you say will be on the record, all right? Just so you know. And
Mr. Miller, what is he saying now?
It's saying that whatever we say is gonna be put on the record.
And he does he nods towards the guy behind the typewriter who starts writing whatever you say, basically.
I see this, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And say,
Miller,
listen
or
up.
someone, just ask him, where is Dr. Sanchez, Professor Sanchez? That's what we need to know. We're concerned about him. Tell us that.
Did you find Professor Sanchez after yesterday's escape?
Dear friends, I hate to be rude, but at this moment it is me who asks the questions. You will have your turn later if you don't mind.
I translate.
Well, what is he saying?
He's saying he's asking the questions here.
So what is your affiliation with Dr. Nemesio Sanchez? And Jackson says, He was my friend and partner in some research we were doing. You see, we're joining the Larkin expedition that you might have heard. Archaeology, you see. And he says, all right, it's the same story for all of you.
I whisper a translation in your ear, Maddox.
Yeah, same for me. Honestly, I'm an anthropologist and also an archaeologist. Yes, I've been involved in this expedition. Yes. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Fischler, you
Tell
can
him that
hear.
Professor Sanchez was providing apt information about our expedition with, I guess you mentioned Larkin there. Was that the word I heard?
Yes, I said that.
Yeah. Basically, my friend Mr. Maddox here is saying yes. That basically, we went to Mr. Sanchez to have some helpful information before going in this very, very dangerous expedition.
What about his student Trinidad Rizzo? What did you know about her? Jackson said, personally, I had never met her before, actually.
Is he talking about the girl? The Rizzo girl?
Yeah, he's asking if he knew her.
No, tell him we never knew her. We're very sorry to hear she passed. Oh, it's very gruesome.
Yes,
Yeah.
I said we found her dead
That's what we are saying.
in the archive.
Can you tell me what were you doing in the archive in the first place?
Professor Sanchez sent us there to talk to his student, to his secretary, whatever she was working.
Do you remember what
on.
time it was?
Probably late afternoon.
I think it was around noon, says Jackson.
Yeah. Was it?
Something like this. I think we met Sanchez.
Yeah, we arrived there
noon.
at 12. And then
we met Sanchez at noon.
Noon. Yeah, something like that.
So it must have been maybe 1 tops.
Early afternoon.
And the officer looks at the other officer and says, they seem to be in a state of shock.
Well, you can tell I don't speak the language very well.
Yeah.
I meant the afternoon.
Miller, what did he say there? Shock.
Some bullshit.
And so
what am I paying you for?
There was some commotion around the corpse of Miss Rizzo. What did you find her? How did you find her? What was the state in which she was in when you found her corpse?
I was the one who found her first, and she was looking pretty thin, and her skin was weird, and she had a hole in her chest.
The guard told us that she was dug up from the crates and other sort of like, what do you call these things? Just junk at the museum.
Dug up from the crates?
As she was, there were crates all around her, and so someone took the corpse out of the mess.
Shane, tell her it was dark, the lights were off for some reason, and when we found her, we tried to help her before we figured out that she had passed away.
Yeah, it was very dark, and when we found her, I just could make out the body was on the ground, so we tried to aid her before realizing it was too late.
I see. And then you went straight away to Professor Sanchez?
Yes.
And Professor Sanchez was already in this state? That's what your preliminary statement seemed to suggest?
Yes.
Can you confirm that?
Yeah, it was spitting goo.
They confirm it. And it says, well, okay, friends, I understand this is hard for you, and I thank you for your collaboration.
No, one more thing, Chief. At the hospital, I talked to Dr. Sanchez, Professor Sanchez, and he gave us a pretty good identikit of the suspect who attacked him, allegedly.
Okay.
We actually, I look at my companions, we actually have a drawing made to identify this guy. That
Okay.
yeah, can you show it to? I ask Krishna, can you show him the drawing, Krishna?
But yes. But this is a drawing of not of the suspect as Sanchez described him, but this is a drawing of
Luis de MoN.
Well, actually,
Mendoza.
actually, Pinch,
Mendoza.
you didn't understand any of what Miller said. He just asked for the
Yeah.
drawing.
Of course. Yes.
Oh,
Very well.
hold on. That's true though. We have yeah, no,
It's him and his accomplice Larkin. We know who it is.
Sorry, guys.
No, but
I got confused. But
no, but I think Pichler is bright enough to understand that maybe he shouldn't show random pictures. When
yeah. No, I got.
Maybe he never said it then. Maybe he never said
No,
it.
I think he said it, and he sort of watched each other like, and then,
Yeah,
and then
so
maybe you
now-
understand, and then you say like, he doesn't have the drawing here, right?
Yeah, no, I say, well, the guy who attacked Professor Sanchez, at least what he told us, he was a dark-haired man, longish length, with blue eyes,
Are you writing this? Si, senor.
white, about 175 centimeters tall. Is that correct, guys? I asked them. I mean, I was. I asked Hugh about this.
Yeah, I think so. I think around that.
Anything
a
else?
bit shorter than me.
High
With black hair.
I
high
do not
chick-
remember any other detail, unfortunately.
I wrote it down. I got. He write it down actually, but I don't have it with me. But yeah, something of the sort. That's what he said.
All right,
And he
that's
said,
very helpful.
he said they kissed him.
He kissed him. What is some sort of inverted fella here? Well, you've been very helpful here. We'll put everything on the record, and we will be in touch if we need anything else. And we are sorry for your friend, but we are sure we're gonna find him very soon.
The man was under a state of
We were.
yeah. So and he was. He looked like under the effects of rabies, or something like that. He tried to bite me.
All right, that's interesting. Write it down. We've got statements
Think it's
also
enough.
from the hospital as well. We knew he was under some sort of effect of some drugs, which I don't know too much about. All right, and so in the interest of time, let's say thank you guys. Well, you're now free to go wherever you want. I'm happy to say you are not among the suspects. We have no reason to suspect the lot of you.
He says thank you.
Thank you all.
Well, thank you very much.
Gracias.
I
Senor.
hope you have a nice stay in Lima, and hopefully this will not sort of put any black veil upon your visit here, and the beautiful sunshine. You should still enjoy your trip.
He said something about a black sun. I don't know what he's talking about.
Black sun.
No, I was just saying.
Mr. Shane, you tell him.
We were very happy to help. So thank you, officer, for your time.
All right, and have a good day.
Before we go, I want to shake the officer's hand, and I also want to tell him that we're actually going on a trip, an expedition, together with Mr. Larkin and Luis de Mendoza.
I already told him about the Larkin expedition, says Jackson. When you
so
asked,
they are well aware what we're doing then.
Well, they didn't flinch.
I'm just saying that if we turn up dead, they know where to look.
Yeah, there's a statement. They're writing.
Yeah. Yes, I didn't tell about the Mendoza, so I will do right now. Just for the
Fill
record,
him in. That would be appreciated.
just for the record, the officer says there is another member of our expedition. It's called Luis de Mendoza, staying at the Hotel España right now, together with Larkin, our expedition leader, let's say. And he says, "Okay, thank you for the information. I will take note of that as well in case we need more information from you." And Jackson said, "Okay."
Okie dokie.
All right, so you leave the premises, and it's about 12:30 at this point.
Can I take a small break? You can keep playing. I'll be right back.
Okay. Jackson says, "Okay, what should we do now? I would like to take a closer look to the notebook, but Pishla, did you want to go to the library or something?"
We could perhaps peruse the notebook in a library, and me and Montemario could cross-reference for anything we might find.
That's a good idea. I might. I seem to be the better at Spanish, so I might do some translation of the notes to see if we missed anything, and then you guys, in the meantime, can research.
Is there a library where we can go eventually? I don't know.
Yes, of course. I've used it before as well.
Okay. Yeah, I mean the idea of Mr. Pincher is a good idea to spend the afternoon.
Do you have any other plans, Mr. Miller?
I want to go talk to this bodyguard guy. I want to see what he knows.
Mendoza.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go alone.
Say, Mr. Miller, while you're there, could you fetch perhaps the inventory list, see if they have prepared it, so I could just have a wee look.
I am sorry to be paranoid here, guys, but if really de Mendoza attacked Professor Sanchez, I wouldn't send Miller alone.
I honestly wouldn't say anything about that. We will just start with the expedition, and eventually, if you want to do investigation, we can do it.
I don't want to give away anything. I just want to know what he did last night, and I just want to look at his face. You know, I want to get an idea of what happened.
Yeah, I still wouldn't go alone. I would.
Yeah, you know. No, you were. I mean, right now you were like the officer was almost pissed off about your words. So I don't know. Maybe it's a delicate thing. It's maybe an idea to do that together. I'm not sure. And also, I don't feel safe to send you just alone. I don't know about this Mendoza. I mean, it's not a good idea, I think. But you're a free man. If you want to go, you can. But it could be a dangerous person. You know?
That's what I'm thinking. And I know you can defend yourself, Mr. Miller, but you didn't sleep tonight. And if this person is dangerous, I wouldn't want you to go alone.
What, you think he's just going to attack me for no reason?
I'm not saying that, but I would be cautious, let's say.
And I can't really say you won't do that. So, I mean, and also, you know, I don't know what you're gonna say. It could put at risk of the expedition. It could make him suspicious of some things. I don't know. So, I don't know if it's a good idea.
All right, I'll stay with Mr. Maddox then. I don't know what else to do. I'm not a bookworm like you guys. I don't know what to do in a library.
Yeah, I mean, you could just enjoy the city this last day. Go to a brothel. I don't know. Just spend some time.
I don't get paid for that, unfortunately. I'll just stick with Mr. Maddox.
What do you get paid for, Mr. Miller? Apparently not to translate very important conversations with the chief of police.
I just did translate everything he said.
Well, I have an eye for good translations, even if I'm not privy to the Spanish language here. But
I know the guy was speaking weird.
Game a little bit, Mr. Miller. I'm not impressed with your
They have a strange accent. It's not easy to keep up.
Well, try to keep up then.
All right.
Anyways,
Will
what
do.
have you been up to, guys? What have you decided here?
Well, I think me and Mr. Pinchler are gonna spend some time in the library and see if we can find some other clues from the journal.
All right.
I don't know, Mr. Miller. I think is gonna just.
Well, I think Mr. Miller and me are gonna go have a rendezvous with Larkin.
There you go.
Expedition tomorrow, and we haven't talked very much about it yet.
All right. If it's two of you, then I'm okay with that.
That's what I wanted to do in the first place.
Yeah, I just said that you should not be alone. That's my only qualm about it.
I get it.
Okay, just be careful about what you say in general. Just just act like you are just updating them, not like you're, I don't know, trying to intimidate them.
I'll let Mr. Maddox do the talking. Yeah.
I hear you, Mario, but I'm actually going there first and foremost to actually go through the expedition plans, even though I have my second guesses about this Larkin character and Mendoza as well.
Mr. Maddox, if you will, can you fetch me the inventory list while you're seeing Mr. Larkin?
I'll do that, definitely.
Yeah. And another thing, maybe you could get some other geographical information more detailed information about the trip you are going to take. So maybe we can get some comparison with the data that we have from the journal. I don't know, maybe?
Yes.
I'll do my best there, and I'm sure he'll give me that information. He has no reason to hide stuff from me yet. So.
Yeah. I mean, we are going there, so we have to know where we are going. So.
What about you, Mr. Hughes?
I'm joining Mr. Pinchler and Mr. Montemario to do some more translation on the notes that we got from Miss Rizzo and try to see if we figure out anything more important there.
If you're going around town for a moment, then maybe you might take a minute or two and ask around if anyone's seen a crazy old professor running about as well.
I will.
Okay.
I'm leaving this up to you then, Mr. Pinchler. Make sure you come up with something good.
Absolutely, we do.
All right, we'll rendezvous at the hotel.
Let's say 6 p.m.
6 p.m. is good enough.
All right.
See you later then.
Good luck, fellas.
Okay, Jackson talks to you two and says, what about we grab some lunch and maybe we try to get this, if we can get any information about what Maddox just asked, if we hear any rumor. I wouldn't just stop people in the street asking if they've seen a crazed professor running away, right? But maybe if we are at the bar, we can make friends with someone.
I don't know. I'm not really good at this, but if you
no,
I am pretty good at this actually.
You would have to take the lead, Mr. Hughes.
That's no problem. If you don't mind grabbing a bite before going to the library.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
All right. How much do you have in luck, both of you?
I think I'm 40.
I leveled up my luck last session, 77.
All right. How much do you have, Montemario?
I'm not sure it's 40. 44.
Okay, so the lowest luck does the roll. 44. Do a luck roll. Well,
so close.
You grab a bite at a bar. It's not a restaurant. It's more like some sort of, again, like some bar with light food for lunch. And
Taqueria.
Jackson takes the lead, and he seems to be a really good socialite. He makes friends very quickly, and he offers sometimes drinks to the right people, and he mixes very well, and he seems to be very used to gathering information in this way, let's say. The locals get a liking of him very soon, and he sort of also plays a bit on his blackness and even his Americanness, and he makes more of a paradised version of himself to make him look more sort of lovable. And
are they locals? I guess.
yeah. He's looking around with locals. Yes,
Okay.
and yeah, I mean, you make a bunch of friends, introduce you around, and he actually, despite the fact that you know that he's sort of like faking it in a way, actually you have a good time, you know? Even Pichler who doesn't understand what's going on, people start talking to you, both men and women, and start getting interested. You don't understand, they don't understand, but you still talk to each other.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
No one does, but they sort of like keep speaking in Spanish to you, even if they don't understand. And they never give up. And at the beginning you are sort of awkward, but then you sort of like get into the flow, and some time passes, and really, like, in some way, even though there was this sort of black mood over you guys, in some way, for a few minutes at least, you forget about it, and you actually have a good time. But you don't get anything useful out of it. After that, you sort of go directly to the library with a smile on your face, and as you walk towards the library, you took a bite quite close by to the university, so there were also a bunch of students, and perhaps also some people who could know Professor Sanchez and could have seen him around the museum. So you went to the right places as well, but no luck this time. And yeah, so as you walk back to the museum, sort of like your smile fades away as you remember the place in which you saw so many horrors yesterday. The library and the university itself is annexed to the museum. As I told you, the university is quite old. It's from 16th century. It's the oldest from South America. And it is, especially for a person appreciative of the arts like Pichler, is definitely the more beautiful part than the museum. The museum itself is very modern and perhaps not necessarily to Pichler's liking, but the old university is quite a sight to behold. And so you head towards the library. You enter its nice hall, and you definitely have no trouble gaining access, both by the fact that you are so well dressed, and you would introduce yourself as researcher from La Sapienza di Roma, and people are super friendly. The librarian gets you around whatever you need. She shows you where you can find things, and you can always ask her. Jackson takes a seat at a table and starts studying the notebook as you go around researching. And you can do library use roll, both of you. And you can also tell me if you're looking for something specific, or otherwise I will tell you some things.
I suppose I'm more of a helping hand because I don't know Spanish.
You don't know Spanish, but the library is not only Spanish, right?
Right.
You can find things, and you can find books. Like if you have library, do you have library use?
Yes.
Yeah, if you have library use, you can still navigate it. Maybe you find the right tome. Maybe you can't read it, but you find the right things in the right place. You know, that's what I mean.
All right.
And again, it's not only Spanish. You can find German books. You can find other languages that you speak. Perhaps as Montemario tells you about the occult symbols, you can find something in Latin or Greek to cross-reference the symbols and so on. So just both of you do library use.
Okay, so I will look mostly. I was honestly interested in the symbols, so I will look for some symbology or semiotics books, something like that, mostly. Yes, I will start from that. I guess I don't know. I don't think that I can find some awkward books here. Maybe I can try. Yeah, but mostly about symbology, I think.
Yeah, do a library use, and David, if you want, you can spend 7 luck points to have a success. That's what luck points are for.
Aha. Spend how? Like permanently reduce?
Yeah, permanently.
Yes.
Permanently reduce. Yes. I mean, it's not permanent since every session you can.
Can I spend 4 points to arrive to 0?
You
I
can
do
spend 3 points to get to 1, which is a critical success, but extreme success is pretty good.
Yeah, okay, that's nice.
Well, I do spend those points. Oi, now I accidentally made a roll.
Yeah, no problem. You just reduce 7 points and you get a success. All right, guys. Pishre, what do you look for specifically?
Well, I'm also very interested in the symbolicism of the doodles that Rizzo has. Her doodles.
Okay.
And then, if I'm satisfied with that, like the priest.
Okay, sounds good. And before telling you the results, I would actually go to Maddox and Miller because this takes the whole afternoon for you guys. So, do you guys directly go to Hotel España to pay a visit to Larkin?
Yes.
Okay,
We do.
so it's about lunchtime, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you have been there, right? But not Miller.
I didn't.
Miller hasn't been there now.
So Miller, just to describe to you quickly, I don't know if you remember from my description I did to the other guys, but it's a shorter hotel, smaller than yours, very cheaper and sort of like very colorful, with lots of like Peruvian art and photographs from all around Peru. And there is this old lady with a black shawl, with sort of sitting. There is no such thing as a reception counter or anything like this. It's just the old lady.
I know to the lady, go, buenos dias, señor.
Buenos días. El señor.
Hello,
Yeah.
senora.
Hello. It's a man from yesterday.
Yeah, we met yesterday. We would like to meet Mr. Larkin.
Larkin, sí. En la su habitación.
Upstairs. Okay, lady. Thanks. Thank you very much. Gracias. Come on, Miller. Let's go upstairs.
Yes,
I know the way.
let's go. By the way, Mr. Maddox,
Yeah?
before we start talking to these guys, I was wondering, do you think we should put some money into get a weapon for our security?
Well, yeah, we are buying rifles, right? You mean personal security right now?
No, not right now. I mean, in general,
We're bringing weapons to the expedition, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause this whole business is getting kind of fishy. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
All right.
The sour taste in my mouth isn't leaving. We'll see. We'll give some a closer look into this Maddox, this Larkin fella.
All right.
See what he's up to. So we go upstairs.
Yep.
No, I don't knock that aggressively. I knock pretty.
Yeah. You hear a voice inside in Spanish saying, "Yes, who is it?"
It's Mr. Maddox.
Oh,
how are you doing, Larkin?
Oh yeah, Mr. Maddox. Just hang on a second.
Yeah.
And you hang on for about a minute, and then he opens up the door, and Miller, you can smell it. It's like, as he opens the door, it's like opening like a butchery, but with meat that's been there for weeks, right? It's really rotten.
All right.
And Larkin is there. It is looking much better than yesterday for sure, and also than the last time you saw him at the dinner. And he smells very heavy of cologne that is sprayed on himself, and is a bit sweaty and greasy. And he opens not completely, but about halfway. He's wearing a robe as well. And please do a spot hidden also.
Yeah. I'm gonna shoo him out now.
I do a hard success.
And Maddox has a fail. Okay, so you have a pretty keen eye, and while probably Maddox is not watching so closely, also because he opened and he's.
I'm upset at the scene, so that's why I'm
Yeah,
just
but also
watching.
you're looking at him in the eyes, right? You're talking to him, while Miller is
Yeah.
staying from behind and watching a little bit, and he seems to be sort of somehow a bit dirty under his robe, as if there is something like, especially you can see in his wrists maybe, and also in his chest, as if as if not even dirt, as if it was black coal or something on top of it. Something is black there, like some black markings.
All right.
And well, good afternoon, gentlemen.
Listen here, Larkin. I came over to discuss the expedition, which is tomorrow, which is in less than 24 hours.
Yeah, right.
But look at the state of you. What is going on
Oh,
here?
I'm doing
Every
much
time I
better.
visit you, look at this. It
What's up
smells.
with
It reeks in here.
Oh, come
And
on.
look at yourself. What's going on
I've
here?
just been a bit sick, that's why. But I'm doing.
Sick. This isn't sick. This is something else.
I'm doing much better, Mr. Maddox.
I grab the door and open it pretty aggressively so that it's wide open now.
That's what I'm talking about.
Do you have
I
intimidate?
can afford.
Let's see. I don't think I have intimidate.
I think everyone has intimidate, anyways. You can do an intimidate check. Let me just see how intimidating you are when you do that. Or you're just a nice guy, you're just opening the door, but also not very intimidating.
I have 15 in intimidate. Can I get a bonus for?
Just roll intimidate. Okay. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
It doesn't, you open the door pretty aggressively, and he sort of says, "Calm down. What's up with that, Mr. Maddox?"
Listen here. I got a lot of money riding on this. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna let you or anyone fuck it up for me.
Oh,
I'm
Mr.
getting
Maddox,
really
you
worried
can,
about
you. You can rest assured that I am qualified for this job.
Well, your appearance says otherwise.
All right, Mr. Maddox, never judge a book by its cover.
No, but I'm judging you by your habits. Look at your nightstand. What's that? Heroin.
What's up with that? There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, there is something wrong. If it's in the way of my money, I'm funding this expedition. And I need you to be tip-top shape when we're out there in the field.
It's okay. The natives chew
No, it's
coke.
not.
Oh, come on, Mr. Maddox, be reasonable. If I've traveled in the Andes before and found the artifacts and so on, I am definitely in shape to do this expedition. You don't have to worry. I understand. Okay, this doesn't look good. Okay, I understand, but really,
You want to explain yourself?
I'm not a bookworm.
What's going
I'm
on
not
in
a
this room?
researcher. There's nothing wrong. I'm just a bit messy. That's it.
Well, this goes way beyond messy or lazy or any kind of willy-nilly behavior.
What is
What's
going
it-
on?
What is this smell?
What is going on here? And the lady comes upstairs. What is going on here? Is everything alright? I don't want any trouble.
Lady, you stay out of this. This is a talk between two men here. 3 men, even.
Listen, and she sort of waves the cane. Intimidate. Listen, if you need to make any trouble, you get out the fuck out of my hotel, okay? You can do all the trouble you want, but not here.
Miller, talk to her. I don't know what this crazy lady's telling me.
I tell the lady, and I go towards the lady, and I go like, "Senora, don't worry about it. We're just talking here."
Do a persuasion.
Persuasion, yeah.
I should have put in points in intimidate. I was thinking about it, but I put it in library use instead.
Hard
Whoa! Okay, well, she calms down and she looks at you in your eyes, and she seems really reassured by your manners. And she says, "Okay, well, but tell your gringo friend right there that I don't want no trouble here.
I will. Don't worry about it.
I'm trusting you, young man. You seem a good man.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Just
senora.
don't make any mess and don't disturb the guests, okay?
We won't.
All right.
I should.
All right, thank you, and enjoy your
I
stay.
close the door.
Ah, okay, so you get inside.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And she goes away.
Yeah, Mr. Larkin, as I said, you're not giving me a very professional look here. It's almost noon and you're not even up. We're going tomorrow. What's going on here?
Yeah, I just,
Maestro, while they're talking,
yeah.
I want to look around the place. Like, what's this smell? It's like meat. What is it?
Yeah, it's just
I also want
everything reeks. Like it's sort of.
I have a look around. I just have a look. I don't lift stuff or.
Okay, but you
like,
just walk around.
Yeah, I walk around. I can go towards the window and I look around inside.
And he says, Mr. Maddox, I don't feel comfortable with the way you are talking to me right now and the way you're looking around. What is this breach of trust and privacy right now?
Well, you would feel the same way if you were in my shoes. We're going on a very hard and very potentially deadly expedition, and you're here bumming about in your room. How do you expect me to trust you when you can't even get up in the morning?
I see, Mr. Maddox, that you have no experience in the field. You judge things by the way they are arranged in a room, but up there in the mountains, there is no room. It's not important how you arrange things and how you dress. It's important how you survive in the wilderness, how you can hunt, how you can make a fire. And I know you don't have any experience, and I agreed to bring you with me because you're a good man and you are my patron for this expedition. And I'm sure we can make great work together, but let the work be done by professional. You have no idea how an expedition is made.
I say the man has got a point.
You stay out of this, Miller. Anyway,
I don't even look at you guys when I say this. I keep looking around.
Yeah, well, I expect you to act professionally when we're out there. And hell. I came here to talk about the expedition. Are you fit to do that, or do I need to?
Yeah. Yes.
All right.
What do you want to talk
Bring
about?
what was his name? The Mendoza. Bring you the Mendoza fellow downstairs, and we'll have lunch. My treat. And we'll talk about the expedition.
All
okay?
right. Let me get dressed. I think the Mendoza is not in his room right now, but he should be coming. I think he went for lunch, actually.
Maestro, should I do a spot hidden roll for the looking around, or
Okay, sure. Do a spot hidden, yes.
nothing? All right.
You see the heroin, and it's a mess. It's just what I described. There is nothing more suspicious than that. It's already quite suspicious in that way, let's say, but it's nothing more than that.
But can we see where the smell is coming from? It's not like he has rotten meat.
It's
right?
no. Yeah, no, it's not. There is no corpse hidden like under the bed or something like that. Maybe you even sort of like did this to make sure. But there is no. There is no corpse, something like that. It's just everything is reeking, and sure, it is not a normal smell of like a room that's just closed. It's definitely stronger.
And before we leave, like as Mr. Maddox approached the door, I look at the fella in the eyes and I say, "You better keep up to your words, man." And I look at the heroin.
You bet I do. And I think we are starting all of this, and he opens the door, like showing it your way. I think we are starting this with the wrong foot. You know, Miller, if you know anything about expeditions, that we need to count on each other.
Yeah, I mean, one person already died and one is missing, so definitely the wrong foot here.
They were not part of our expedition, however. No, nothing happened to the lot of us.
Right, like you say. I go out of the room.
Okay.
We go downstairs. I don't like this one bit, Mr. Miller.
Yeah, stinks.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt once more, but fool me once, shame on me, right? Or how the saying goes. Fool me twice, shame on me, is what he says.
With a bush.
I thought,
Teach the man to swim.
I've met some high functional drug addicts in my days, but still, it's an alarm bell for sure. Like we should.
It's more like a clock tower, in my opinion, but sure, I agree.
Yeah, we should keep an eye on the guy, definitely. All right. And did you notice? I whisper this. Did you notice around his wrists and chest there was some black?
His wrists.
Yeah.
Some kind of black mark. No, I didn't notice.
Like coal, and I don't want to say too much here. Maybe my imagination is taking ahead, but reminded me a little of the inside of Professor what's his name? The guy at the
Sanchez.
hospital, Sanchez. Professor Sanchez. It was blackness inside his mouth. It would look like charcoal.
When he was trying to bite you mean?
No, when we visited him with Mr. Hugh at the hospital, and he couldn't talk to us, he wrote down the notes of his aggressive appearances. He was black inside his mouth, his teeth, and his.
Was that because of the corrosive
I thought it was.
substance he had in his mouth?
No, I thought at the moment it was some sort of medicinal stuff they used on him to heal him at the hospital. You know, like iodium, like disinfectants.
You mean it can leave a stain?
Yeah, but I don't know, around Sanchez. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know. Maybe my imagination is having the best of me at the moment.
Yeah. All right. We'll see. We get settled at a table, Lucho.
So you were gonna have lunch at the hotel.
I figured that.
It's a good place. It's relatively sort of like tucked away. There are like 3 tables.
Okay. So it's private in a way because
yeah.
there's no one there.
Exactly. It's private, homemade cuisine, let's say. And so
Well, let's see what the senora here can.
There is no one else
cook up
for
first.
lunch. And after about 20 minutes, or like let's say 15, after 15 minutes, Larkin gets down. He's now dressed, although he's dressed with this baggy sort of jacket and so on. And he looks good again. I mean, comparatively, right, as to what you've seen him. And he actually ignores you. Like he goes straight out of the hotel, and it doesn't seem like he's running away or anything. He's just looking around, and he goes somewhere. And after 5 minutes, he comes back and he's with the Mendoza.
Oh, okay.
And
when he comes by, I get up, by the way, and I give him a handshake. I'm sorry, Larkin. I have a bad temper sometimes. I didn't mean to offend you. I'm sorry for my behavior. Can I do a charm?
Yes.
Or maybe you do it and you decide if he.
No. You can do a charm.
Okay.
Well, in any case, he let's say he's not super impressed, but he shakes your hands and says, "Let's put everything behind us, Mr. Maddox. This is very important. This might as well be the most important thing I do in my life. Honestly, this is
likewise.
This is so important for me. I wouldn't want to jeopardize. And maybe let's take a seat. And in the meantime, you're taking a seat at the table and ordering whatever lunch menu. Basically, it's there like the dish of the day." And he's saying, perhaps I also get on edge a little bit because this is really important for me.
I agree. And likewise, that's how I feel about it. I got a lot riding on this.
That's also why I'm protective. I mean, this might be making history right now, you know, besides making us rich, which is a good side effect.
I hope we do both, yeah.
The Mendoza is there again. He's like looking around, and he didn't order food. He already had lunch. He said.
I sit in front of him.
Mendoza.
Okay.
Oh. I nod at him also.
Do a Spanish check.
Success.
I don't know Spanish.
From the few words he says when he's refusing the meal to the signora, and he's also saying he's already at lunch, you understand that his accent is not from South America, which is the accent you're used to. Like, you've seen many people from different countries, never heard this accent from South America. It might be from Spain, or you're not super familiar. Speaks weird.
While they talk business, we sit a little bit further, right? Or right next to them, like, or how are we?
I think we're all sitting at the same table.
Same table.
Yeah.
Same table? Okay.
No.
But are we are we part of the conversation so far? No, not really, right? Me and
No, the Mendoza doesn't even try to be part of the conversation.
Okay, while you guys talk business, I look at Mendoza and I picked up from my pocket a pack of cards.
Uh-huh.
I have a pack of dirty cards in my inventory,
Okay.
and I nod and I go like, play cards.
Which game?
Which game? Poker, of course.
Poker. You're gonna need to brush up my rules here.
And I go like, it's easy, and I start mixing them.
Okay.
Can you even play poker on 2 people?
Yeah, you can, I guess. Yeah, you
Okay.
can.
Well, you're not so okay. So let's say you're not in front of him. You are on the side, right? So it's a 4.
Yeah.
So you're on the side, and you guys are basically ignoring them at this point because you are talking to each other.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you tell Larkin?
Sorry, hold on. All right, Larkin. With that out of the way, let's go through the operation tomorrow. Let's break down the expedition.
So the trucks are gonna come at 7:45. We're gonna depart at 8 a.m. We're gonna go straight to Puno.
Puno.
Yes. You need a map.
All right.
It shows you a map of.
Oh, well, if you have a map here, you could show me. I would
It shows
be.
you a map of Peru on the table, and
Yep.
yeah, it shows you where Puno is southeast, not too far from the border with Bolivia, on the shores of Lake Titicaca. It's pretty far away.
Yeah, and once we reach Puno,
It's a bit
that's
more
when
than
we'll get off
1,000 kilometers. It's quite far away.
So we need to get on foot, right?
From Puno, I'm thinking, well, horse maybe, or yes, foot perhaps, with some pack animal, maybe a donkey or 2 or an alpaca or 2. That's
All right, and that's also where we'll hire some help, right?
well, we hire the drivers. We can hire more muscle in Puno if we need, but I don't think we're gonna need. From Puno, I reckon it should be 3-4 days tops on foot. Have you ever done 3 days on foot?
Don't worry about me, Mr. Larkin. I'll handle anything you throw at me.
All right. You seem like a sturdy man. After all. Is anything specific you want to go through?
Yeah, well, once we reach the destination, you haven't been to the pyramid, right?
No,
So-
I have not. And you start eating, by the way, at this point. He sort of like folds the map, and he brought the food. She brought the food, and yes, no, I've not. I've not been there, alas. But yeah, once we reach the destination, we do some preliminary research with the equipment I have. Take note of the coordinates, make some rough sketches for the map. I know 1 thing or 2 about cartography. Make photographs. Perhaps
All right.
make some gold disappear from there. And well, we come home.
If we're so lucky, right?
We come home with some good news. That is the plan for me. Seems
And what
pretty
if we reach
straightforward.
this pyramid? Do you reckon we will enter it?
It depends. If
Are
we
we
need to
equipped for
excavate.
that?
Well, we are equipped for light excavation, but we are not bringing anything that will require a team, right?
All right.
Yes, of course. I don't know. Like probably we will need to enter the pyramid somehow, right? Usually that's where the riches are, and if Moyo's grandfather took the artifacts from there, there must be some part of it which is accessible. Perhaps it needs more digging. Like what they do in Egypt.
This Moyo fellow, where did you exactly meet him, by the way?
I met him around that area, around south of Puno.
Do you think we could meet him again? He might be a very valuable member in this expedition if he could show it to
I
us.
think we could, but I don't think he would be. First of all, he didn't want to have anything to do with this pyramid, and it was his grandfather who knew about it. So I think I let's say took all the information out of him that I could.
I would like to meet him anyways. I can be very persuasive if I have to.
You don't speak Spanish though, and he hardly speaks
That is
Spanish
fine.
himself.
Even if he speaks some Native American lingo bingo, I'm sure I can even make him talk.
Well, all right.
Money talks, you know.
It should be. We can figure that out in Puno. I think it might take us an extra day if we wanna. It's not too off the way from what I think, but it will slow us down 1 or 2 days probably to go to his farm.
Even if it's an extra day, I think that's worth it. Unless you have any
Do a persuasion.
fancy, man. Fucking percentile shit.
All right, Mr. Maddox, you win. You call the shots. That could be an idea. We will stop at Moyo's farm.
That's great to hear. I'm glad you see eye to eye with me here.
Meanwhile,
Do I have anything else that I want to know?
Yeah, sorry. Meanwhile, what are you doing with the Mendoza?
Yeah, I'm dealing the cards, and I'm having a small conversation with the guy, like while I deal the cards, and I say, "You're not from here, right?" In Spanish.
Yeah, he only speaks Spanish.
Yeah.
He says,
You're not from these parts.
"No, I'm from Madrid."
You've been living here for a long time, and I just give the cards.
Yeah, it's been 10 years.
You miss it?
No, here it's good.
Psychology. Is he bullshitting me or
Do a psychology.
success?
Yeah, it seems like he wants to make the conversation as short as he can.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we play the game, I guess. Can I see what cards I get with the luck roll?
Sure. You tell him the rules and whatever.
Yeah, poker.
Yeah,
like
do a luck roll and see if you fail, you lose. If you succeed.
No, hold on. If I want to suggest this,
Okay, you can do a deception.
I can bluff, right?
All right.
So
do a luck.
first thing. I have 4 8.
You have poker, yes. Yeah. And well, do you play that? Did you play with money?
Oh yeah, right. We're
Well,
playing
his
money.
first game, he actually doesn't want to play with money.
Oh come on.
Okay, he
What
plays. You convince him, and he plays with a little bit of money. Okay.
So, yeah, small.
It's a couple
like
dollars. A couple
Yeah,
dollars.
$2.
A couple soles, actually. That's the.
Just to make it interesting, right?
Yeah.
And I talked to him, and I dealt the cards, so he has to call it first. So, like, if he want to see my hands, or like, I don't put much on the table, and I say like, your call, man.
Let me roll a luck roll. Well, I myself don't know very much the rule of poker, but he's upping you a little bit, let's say.
All right. And I say, did you hear? While I look at my cards, did you hear about Professor Sanchez? What happened yesterday? And I want to read like my goal is to. We're playing poker, so it's
Yeah.
already like a bluffing, like psychological game.
Yeah.
I want to read something in his face as he's distracted by the game. Maybe if he's heard something or whatever his answer would be, I want to try and read like if he knows something about it or not.
Okay, he says, yes, I read in the newspaper about a murder. Not something that I'm too interested about. This
A murder? And I fake like interest, like, where is it? How many cards, by the way? How many cards you want?
2.
2 cards. And I say I'm set.
Oh, he says.
I don't want cards.
Okay, and then he puts a little bit more after he takes these 2 cards. He seems to be pleased with what he got.
All right.
And say, yeah, it's a murder at the museum. I don't know, I don't care.
At the museum.
Yes.
Oh, really? Who died?
Well, didn't you ask about Professor Sanchez and you don't know about this? What do you know about Professor Sanchez then?
I heard they went to the hospital.
Well, he went to the hospital because there was a murder. And he was involved, there was some aggression going on.
He killed someone, I say?
Oh, I don't know, I didn't read the whole thing. And says,
Alright.
so, how does it work now?
And now you show your cards.
Who does show first?
Well, I guess I show first, right, guys? I don't remember. Yeah, I show first.
I don't
Okay.
think that's how it works.
called it,
You,
he
you don't
called
have to show. Yeah,
He-
you call it.
He called it, so all right. I put down my cards.
Okay, he's like very displeased. And it's like, are you fucking with me?
What do you mean? Oh, by the way, my psychology test on what he knew about the hospital thing, the murder and stuff. Like, is he really like? Does he know anything about it or
Okay, go with a psychology test.
success?
Again, he wants to make it short, and he he might have stumbled upon a few things when he said the way he talked about it was a bit suspicious, let's say.
Alright.
And it's not just in this case that it's not just that he want to make it short, it's also that he's probably lying about something. And he's displeased again, and I said, he said, are you fucking with me? At our first game, you do the best hand.
What can I say?
That's funny, he says.
What can I say? I was born lucky, I guess.
Yeah.
I take the money. One more game?
He says, not in the mood.
I hear you, fellow. Don't need to be sore about the losing. You know, you win some, you lose some, right?
Right. I was never good at them cards and sleight of hand.
Ooh, he's calling you a cheater, man.
Okay, so you guys are going through what? Otherwise,
I just want to get a feel. Like the plan is sound, I think. I just want to make sure he's correct, and also the point he's placing on the map, the area he's looking for. Does it line up basically with what the notebook says?
well, he's not actually telling you exactly the area on the map. I mean, the point on the map. He's telling you the area, and it lines up perfectly, yes, with the notes.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Okay. And I get a feel that he's correct with me. He's not.
You get a feel that he's correct with you. Do a psychology check.
Okay. The call of Freud.
Oh!
You
come the fuck on.
You can't really read him. It's very strange, and them playing cards is also distracting you, sort of. You like playing cards, I think, and it's like you sort of like when you saw that he had the poker, you're sort of split interest in right now, and also it's difficult to read, and you're reading. It's hard to read. That's it.
Fuck me. It's critically hard to read him.
Yeah.
We finish up dinner, and I leave with a sort of a bad feeling.
Do a
actually.
spot hidden as well, though.
Okay. Hold on. Yeah, I look at his vad heter det?
Yeah, wrists. That's what I'm talking about, because as he points things in the map. Yeah, you see some blackness or some darkness in the wrists. It's not as black as coal as Miller had described it. it seemed like it might be a little bit dirty in the wrists or something, perhaps.
You alright there, Larkin?
What do
Your
you
wrist
mean?
is looking a bit banged up or something.
It's just yeah, he shows you, and his skin is pretty fair, and his veins are quite dark on the skin. They sort of pop out a little bit. It's a bit unsettling actually to watch, and he shows you, like without shame, and he says, "Yeah, it sucks. That's how it is."
How does Mendoza react when they talk about this stuff?
Yeah, actually, when he asks, Mendoza is sort of like, like a cat, and he's looking
All
at
right.
how Maddox reacts, I suppose.
All right.
Well, what is it, Larkin? It looks like some
I had
disease or something.
you see, I come from Kenya. Did I tell you?
You're from Kenya.
Yeah, well,
Well, you're white as
sure. My parents
as
are
anyone I've seen.
British, but I do come from Kenya. I was born
All
there,
right.
and when I was young, I wasn't the luckiest in my family. Let's say I took a bunch of diseases and blood poisoning and malaria, as I told you, and it left all sorts of strange marks on me. That's one of them. It sucks, but it's nothing bad. It's just, say, cosmetic.
It doesn't affect you in any way, then.
No, this doesn't affect me at all.
You know what it is called?
I think it's some sort of blood poisoning.
Jesus.
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry, man. That's a hard card dealt.
But malaria is
I
actually
felt-
there was the worst. I think this is just I don't think it affects my life. Maybe makes me a bit more sort of prone to fatigue than other people, but that's it. I don't mind it.
All right.
That's something you can offset with good physical training
And a bunch of heroin, I guess.
and a bunch of heroin. No, he laughs, Gus, and he says the heroin is more for the pain.
All right. Well, Larkin, I think we're done here.
All right, sir. Then I will meet
I'll
you
see you tomorrow morning, then.
7:30 maybe. What do you say?
Yeah, we can come by earlier, definitely.
All
I
right.
shake his hand again.
Okay.
Always a pleasure, Larkin. And you too, Mr. De Mendoza.
My pleasure, says Larkin, and the Mendoza doesn't say anything, just grunts.
I nod to Larkin and I say to Mendoza, we'll have another game sooner or later.
Again, he grunts.
And as soon as we leave, I talk to you and I say, that Mendoza guy is shady as fuck. Pardon my French.
Both of them are.
Let's pause it here with you guys as you leave. And the three guys at the library, you did some critical extreme successes as well. So let me tell you what you found. So, okay, first of all, Jackson is translating the text. So whatever I hope you heard when I did the summary to Vallo earlier. So whatever thing that Miller might have forgotten to relay, now you know. So you know all the story. If you want to ask questions, you can tell me later. But it's basically the story of these explorers who went to this pyramid, found this piece of gold, pried it out, got some sort of like hunger fever, start killing each other, almost tried to eat Figueroa, and then they were all killed in this thing. And Figueroa was plagued by nightmares and called by some sort of dark devil until the day of his death, basically. So that's the summary. As for what you find, well, first of all, you find a German copy of the book called, in Latin, Malleus Maleficarum, which is Der Hexenhammer.
The Hexenhammer.
Yes. Where you... it is a book from the 16th century, I believe, or 15th century, late 15th century. in this translation of early 20th century, actually, German translation. And that is where you find the cross-reference with the symbols. And both you and Montemario, who actually manages to navigate these books and asks you to directs you basically to which books to look for. That's how you know about the Hexenhammer, that it's an obscure book that you've never heard about. Sorry?
Der Hexenhammer, you say?
Hexenhammer.
Hexen.
The hammer of the witches.
Ah. Ach so.
Yes, you study that book together, and even though I don't think Montemario speaks German, do you?
No, I don't speak German, but I guess that I may have studied on the Latin original version.
Yeah.
Maybe
But you read Latin, right?
Yes.
Yes. So you find so basically
Yes.
you have read a Latin version of the Malleus Maleficarum, though it was not complete, and of course you have a lot of that knowledge on yourselves. In this time, however, with the doodles of Rizzo, you manage to sort of like figure out more things, right? And so basically what you do is direct Pinchler, and Pinchler does the translation, let's say. It's more or less this joint effort. And you find out the symbols, and you start getting really into it and a little bit unsettled when you realize that the symbols on the notebook don't just resemble the symbols on certain spells in the book, but they are actually the same. Very well detailed, especially towards the end of the notebook. The doodles seem to be like almost one-to-one copies of these symbols, and so a lot of the book is about how to recognize witches, right? And in this part which you specifically find, it is about how witches speak with the devil, and you can actually bring forth the devil to speak with him using those symbols and circles and arcane formulas. There is like precise instructions on how to do this and how to recognize when a witch is doing this, and also how to bring forth the devil in case you need the devil's witness against the witch herself. And well, all of this is quite an unsettling sort of read, and but that's not the only unsettling thing that you find. You also are researching into the Mendoza, and you find out that so you're basically researching the group that of conquistador that's mentioned in the book, and you find all of them, like Pedro de Velasco, and you find all of them in their stories. And interesting, it catches your interest, the part about the Mendoza, because there is a certain Antonio de Mendoza who was declared in 1549 viceroy of Peru.
Was declared a
viceroy, viceré,
okay.
Viceroy of Peru, and basically it seems that Luis de Mendoza, this conquistador that is cited in the book, in the manuscript, appears to be his younger brother, and there are also some portraits of Antonio de Mendoza, and in the end, at some point you both sort of switch a page and freeze in the spot, because you find a portrait of Luis de Mendoza, and it is exactly the Luis de Mendoza that you have met. and it's right about the same expression that Pinchla managed to sort of get with his drawing, almost unsettling how it's almost the same angle even, same expression, same angle, and it's definitely his piercing blue eyes on a book, and that's how we end for tonight at midnight. And you both can roll 1d6.
Cool.
And you can add that number to your Cthulhu Mythos skill. And you can add that.
I have to do edit. Yes, I rolled on the 2 meters.
And also this, you can remove this amount from your maximum sanity.
Hey guys. Well fucking done. Fuck me.
That's a good start. Yeah, that's a good start.
You have extreme success in Cthulhu.
We didn't even
Mythos and-
start the expedition.
Krishna rolled a 6.
Nice.
He's never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
And it's a hard hit immediately.
Extreme successes
But
in
guys,
Cthulhu are often a loss, mean a loss of sanity.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
guys, wouldn't we just kill him now? Like for real, what the fuck do you do when this happens?